At Sophie's birthday party, my mother and sister held down my 11-year-old daughter and cut her braid off because she looked too pretty, too confident, too much like me. My mom said it's just hair. I didn't argue. I did this. The next morning, they were called into the station. I didn't see the scissors raised. I didn't hear my daughter whisper, "Please don't." I didn't see the pearls fall to the floor or the laughter that came right after. But I saw what they left behind. And that was enough. Enough to know I had trusted the wrong people again. Enough to finally stop being quiet. Lily walked into that house with glitter on her shoes, light in her voice, and hope braided into every strand of her hair. I had twisted those curls with damp fingertips, tucked each pearl into place. "You look beautiful," I told her. She beamed. "Do you think Aunt Danielle will like it?" I smiled and lied. "Of course, baby." But inside I knew. They don't like girls who shine too much. They never did. When I dropped Lily off that morning, the porch still smelled like lemon polish and frosting. Danielle answered the door in white like purity could be stitched into fabric. Margaret stood behind her gaze, fixed on Lily's braid like it was a threat. "A girl needs to know when she's drawing too much attention," my mother said. "She's 11, I replied. Margaret smiled that cold, polished smile. "So were you." I should have turned the car around. I should have known what that look meant, Sophie standing by the staircase watching Lily like a rival, not a cousin. Should have remembered how it feels when women raised to compete see a reflection of everything they tried to suppress. But I left. I let history repeat itself. I didn't see them drag her to the corner. Didn't see Danielle raise the scissors. Didn't see Sophie clap or Noah record it like a school prank. But I saw Lily after, sitting on the curb, eyes vacant, hair jagged. And I knew. They didn't just cut her braid. They tried to cut her down. Because she reminded them of the girl I used to be before I stopped apologizing. So here's my question. Did I go too far? Or not nearly far enough? Let me know in the comments. And if you want stories that fight back raw, fierce, and a little bit furious, stick around. My daughter Lily walked into that house with pearls in her braid, hope in her eyes, and no idea that her glow was a threat. I watched her from the car window, my fingers still damp from twisting her curls just right. She'd insisted on doing most of it herself, 11 going on 20. But I added the final touch, the pearl pins tucked along the braid. She'd beaming. "Do you think Aunt Danielle will like it?" I lied with a smile. "Of course, baby. You look beautiful." It was early on a crisp March morning, sunlight cracking through bare branches like spring was just beginning to believe in itself again. The streets in Newton were still quiet, save for a few joggers and the occasional dog walker. My hospital badge still hung off my coat pocket. I'd picked up an extra shift to avoid the party. Not because I didn't want to see my family, but because I wasn't sure I could keep smiling through it. Through them. They always said I was too much. I muttered, shifting the gear into park. I remembered the family brunch when I was 13, red lipstick I bought with babysitting money paired with my favorite cobalt dress. Margaret had pursed her lips and said, "You look like you're asking for attention." Danielle had giggled behind her mimosa. Now history was trying to write itself again, only softer, slicker, wrapped in ribbons and cake. The Monroe home still looked like a magazine cover, white stone porch, symmetrical hedges, flags arranged by the seasons. This month's happy birthday, Sophie spelled in gold letters beside a unicorn balloon arch. Danielle answered the door immaculate as ever. White jumpsuit glass earrings, that perpetual tilt of the head like she was always slightly disappointed. Her eyes skimmed over Lily's glitter shoes and the shimmer in her hair. "Hi, Lily," she said. So festive. Lily beamed, unaware of the frost in the tone. "Thank you, Auntie D." Margaret emerged behind her like she'd been waiting. Her cardigan matched the pale green roses in the vase behind her. Always coordinated, even her judgment. "You really let her wear that?" She asked, voice low enough to sound like concern. I laughed softly. She picked it herself. Margaret leaned in, eyes flitting to Lily's braid. "A girl needs to learn when she's shining too bright. It invites problems." My breath caught. "She's 11, Mom." Margaret smiled like she hadn't said anything at all. So were you. Inside, I caught a glimpse of the foyer. A new family photo sat on the console. Same beach, same lighting. But I wasn't in it. Or rather, I had been. Until someone cropped me out. I didn't say anything. Text me if she wants to come home early, I said to Danielle, brushing a hand over Lily's shoulder. She'll be fine. Danielle replied, already turning away. As I stepped back toward my car, I looked once more through the front window. Sophie stood by the staircase, eyes narrowed. Lily was pointing something out on the birthday banner, bouncing a little on her toes. Sophie didn't smile. She just watched her cousin like she was calculating something. I should have known that look. I'd worn it once at 13, red-lipped furious at how Danielle always took up more space and yet made me feel like the loud one. I should have known. It was 2 blocks later when the text buzzed in. Should I undo my braid? Sophie's not talking to me. When I saw Lily sitting on the curb, arms wrapped around herself, hair shredded like paper, I knew something had broken. She didn't run to me. She didn't cry. She just looked up, eyes wide empty, as if her voice had been left behind inside that house. Her pearl pins were gone. Strands of hair curled around her neck in jagged clumps, uneven, like someone had attacked her with kitchen scissors in the dark. Glitter from her shoes dusted the pavement like ash. I parked Crooked Engine, still running, and rushed to her. My breath caught somewhere between my chest and my throat. They cut it, she whispered. There wasn't any anger in her voice. That's what crushed me. Just confusion. Just shame. I wrapped my arms around her, pulling her in. Her heart beat like a bird's. I ran my fingers through what was left of her braid, each broken strand, a question I already knew the answer to. My mind didn't race. It slowed, froze, like a window cracking soundless but irreversible. I wasn't surprised, just ashamed that I hoped they had changed. The front door of the Monroe house creaked open. Danielle stood there, hands folded, neatly, expression unreadable. She refused a ponytail, she said, as if explaining a menu change. She left us no choice. No choice. Behind her, Margaret appeared, dabbing at her lips with a napkin. The scent of buttercream frosting drifted through the air. She was showing off, she added. It was for her own good. Children don't always know what's appropriate. Lily tensed against me. I didn't say anything yet. I carried her inside like she was porcelain and set her gently on the edge of the couch. Richard Monroe sat at the breakfast table, cutting himself another slice of vanilla cake. He didn't look up. I turned to Danielle. You cut her hair? She made a scene, Danielle replied, reaching for a cloth to wipe non-existent crumbs off the counter. We were trying to help her blend in. Sophie was upset. She was shining too bright again, I said, voice steady. Margaret's eyes narrowed. Don't twist this, Emily. You're overreacting. You always were. It slid through the room like a knife. You didn't just cut her hair? I said, my voice a low hum of something beginning to boil. You tried to cut her spirit. No one replied. Even Sophie, perched on a bar stool with a juice box, avoided my eyes. Noah leaned against the fridge, fingers twitching on his phone. I noticed he hadn't joined the protest. Not with words, anyway. I reached for Lily. We're going. Danielle tilted her head. You're being dramatic. But I was already walking out, Lily beside me like a shadow. In the car, silence wrapped us tighter than any seatbelt. I didn't start the engine. Lily's hands trembled in her lap. Then the dam cracked. She sobbed deep and raw like something had been ripped out of her chest. I didn't want to fight. I didn't. But they kept saying I looked wrong, that I was trying too hard. Aunt Danielle said Sophie's hair looked more natural. And Grandma said I reminded her of you. I stared out the windshield, fists curling in my lap. Did anyone record it? I asked, keeping my voice soft. She hesitated. Then Noah. He laughed. I closed my eyes. That was enough. I handed her my phone. Do you want to ask him for the video? 12 seconds. That's all it took for truth to burn everything I'd tried to pretend was still salvageable. The tea kettle clicked off behind me, forgotten. The kitchen light flickered slightly in its old casing, casting soft gold across the marble counter, but it couldn't warm the air between us. Lily sat with her knees tucked under her on the kitchen chair, my phone resting heavy in her hands. She'd typed it out with shaking fingers. "Can you send me the video?" Noah replied in less than a minute. Just the video file. No apology, no emoji, just data. 12 seconds of it. She didn't press play at first. She stared at the thumbnail, a frozen blur of living room light, her own small frame barely visible in the foreground. I crouched beside her. "Do you want me to watch it first?" She shook her head. "Hit play." The sound came first, muffled voices, a faint thump of music in the background. The camera jostled, then steadied. Lily was in the center of the frame, standing near the gift table. Her face was red. She was crying. Danielle's voice snapped clear. "Hold still, Lily. We're fixing it." Then came Margaret's hand, tight claw-like on Lily's shoulder. "Say thank you," Danielle barked. Lily whimpered. "Please don't." Sophie piped in from off-screen, voice sweet, cut the front too. And then laughter. Noah's, sharp, cruel, like it was all a show. Danielle lifted scissors to Lily's braid. Lily flinched. The camera zoomed slightly. The pearls spilled to the floor. The video ended there. I hadn't realized I was gripping the teacup until I heard it crack. Porcelain split clean along the rim, the hot tea leaking into my palm. I didn't flinch. I set it down slowly, deliberately. "This is assault," I said. Lily glanced at me. Her lip trembled, but she nodded. "They said I was making it up, that I was being dramatic. But now I have it. Right, you do." We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of history pressing down like fog. I remembered being 14, the summer party. How Danielle had joked that my halter dress looked too mature. How she snuck up behind me, scissors in hand, and sliced my straps while everyone laughed. I spent the rest of the night clutching a throw pillow to my chest. Margaret had said, "Oh, lighten up, Emily. It was funny. But this time it wasn't me. This time it was my daughter." I turned to Lily. "Do you want to go to the police?" She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "If I don't, they'll do it again. To someone. That was enough." I stood, grabbed my laptop, and pulled up the Boston PD non-emergency line. My voice was steady when they answered. "I have a video," I said. "A minor was physically restrained and had her hair cut without consent by family members. I'd like to file a report." There was a pause on the other end. Then a woman's voice, calm but alert. "Bring the video. We'll take it from here." I ended the call, saved the footage in 3 places. Lily was staring at the wall, the glow from the phone dimming beside her. I moved to her side again, brushing a strand of uneven hair from her cheek. She whispered, "I thought they loved me." When the detective pressed play, she didn't blink. She didn't ask questions. She just watched, and her jaw clenched. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the overhead fluorescents and the low, scratchy audio from my phone. Detective Adrienne Brooks stood with her arms folded, gaze locked on the screen. Lily sat beside me upright in the stiff plastic chair, her posture rigid but her face dry. She didn't flinch when the scissors appeared. Didn't look away when her own cry echoed through the room. I watched the detective instead. When the clip ended, she exhaled slowly. "This is assault," she said, "and child abuse. You've done the right thing bringing it here." I nodded once, trying not to breathe too hard. There was something about this building, its off-white walls, the weight of institutional air that pulled you taut from the inside. A woman in a cardigan and lanyard stepped in. Angela Torres, CPS. She smiled at Lily first. Not with pity, but with respect. "I'll be observing for now." Detective Brooks pulled out a tablet and started logging the report. "Tell me what happened in your own words, Lily." Lily looked at me. I gave a small nod. She spoke with a steady voice, not loud but clear. "They told me my hair was too much. Aunt Danielle said I had to tie it up. I said I liked it how it was. She said I was showing off." Lily paused. Then Grandma held my shoulders so I wouldn't move. "Danielle cut it." Sophie laughed. Noah recorded it and said I was being dramatic. The room stayed still. Brooks typed without interruption. Did they warn you they were going to cut it? No. They said it like they were helping me. She stopped then. Her hands curled in her lap. Angela glanced at Brooks, then at me. We'll open a monitoring file for the Monroes today. I felt my throat tighten. I want them on record. They will be, Brooks said. Every incident, every interview. This video alone is enough to trigger formal investigation. Angela added, they'll be contacted within 72 hours. Their interactions with minors will be reviewed. I'm not interested in mediating, I said suddenly louder than I meant to. My mother called last night. She said we should resolve this as a family. Brooks looked up. You don't mediate assault. Lily's head turned slightly. A tiny relief passed through her face. She signed her name to the statement form without hesitation. I leaned forward and gently took her hand. It was the first time since the party that she didn't pull away. Power. It sat there between us like a warm weight. Not the kind that crushes, but the kind that steadies. Brooks saved the file. This will go on record, she said, meeting my eyes. Are you ready if they try to retaliate? I didn't blink either. They already did, I said. This is me retaliating back. Angela stood and gave Lily a card. You can call me directly if anything else happens, or if you just want to talk. As we walked out, Lily asked softly, will this hurt them? I thought of Margaret's voice so polished when lying. Of Danielle's silence, her cold eyes pretending care. Of Sophie laughing. It'll hurt their lies, I said. And that's the part they care about most. On the way home, my phone buzzed with a notification. Dr. Yara, a child advocacy expert I followed, had posted a thread, Massachusetts law protects minors from non-consensual physical restraint and grooming alterations. Yes, even by family. Especially by family. I showed it to Lily. She read it twice. Then for the first time that day, she smiled. By nightfall, I wasn't the victim anymore. I was vindictive, unstable, weaponizing motherhood. All because I didn't stay quiet. The glow of my laptop painted cold blue across the kitchen walls. Lily sat beside me, her knees drawn up on the couch, scrolling silently through her tablet. Notifications buzzed one after another, stacking like bricks on a house I hadn't meant to build. Danielle's post had gone up just before dinner. A sweet day celebrating Sophie's birthday turned bittersweet after an unfortunate misunderstanding. Lily asked for a makeover. Her hair looked so lovely afterward. We're all shaken by how quickly things can spiral when someone holds on to old grudges. Below it, Margaret chimed in like clockwork. Emily's always been dramatic. We tried to include her. We always try. My hands trembled not with fear, but with fury, sharpened by years of dismissal. The same tune, just with a different verse. It's not that bad, they'd said when I came home crying with snapped bra straps and mascara-smeared cheeks. You're overreacting, they said when Danielle locked me out of the house for fun during a snowstorm. And now they said the same to my daughter. I hadn't planned to respond. I told myself the report was enough. The police would handle it. But Lily turned to me with that same expression I once wore at 13, except hers wasn't confusion. It was clarity. If I stay silent, she said I'm complicit. So I uploaded the video. Just 12 seconds. No edits. No commentary. Just the truth. My caption was short. She said no. They laughed. For a moment, nothing happened. Then everything did. Within minutes, the post exploded. Shares, comments, DMs. Some I recognized, old med school classmates, colleagues at the hospital. Others were strangers' names I didn't know, faces I hadn't seen. Some messages were vile, but most were not. This broke me. My mom did the same. I wish I'd spoken up. Tell Lily she's brave. One message stood out from a woman named Andrea. You don't know me, but I needed to see this. My niece lives with people like them. Maybe this will help. Lily read the comment aloud and tucked her chin into her knees. I was still watching the flood of responses when my phone rang. Unknown number, Emily Carter. a smooth male voice asked. Yes, I represent the Monroe family. We're requesting you take the video down. It's defamatory, and it's harming minor family members. Is that so? I leaned back, voice calm. Then sue me. We can play this game in court. A pause. Then the line clicked dead. Lily laughed once. You sounded like one of those courtroom dramas. I smiled, even as my hands remained stiff on the mug. I've had years to rehearse. She went quiet again, watching the screen light flicker across her socks. Then she pulled a crumpled paper from her backpack. A bright green sticker clung to it. Benji from math class gave me this. She said, eyes down. It read, "You're brave." My throat burned. An hour later, another notification blinked into view. Boston Herald requesting interview a viral child abuse video. Are you available? I showed it to Lily. She didn't flinch. Let's make sure they tell the real story this time, she said. No jail time. No handcuffs. Just a court record, a fine, and something they hate more than punishment, public shame. The courtroom smelled of pine disinfectant and stale deflection. Danielle sat to the left of Margaret, their postures impeccably straight, as if spine alignment could erase what they'd done. Richard hovered behind them like a fading shadow, present but useless as ever. The judge, upright and efficient, read the verdict with the kind of calm that still sliced misdemeanor assault of a minor $2,000 fine, each compulsory parenting education, and 6 months of supervised family contact, though Emily had already declined all further contact under protective advisement. They didn't look at Lily once. Danielle's jaw tightened. Margaret barely blinked. Richard kept his gaze somewhere above the judge's head like he was watching a fly, and not the last shard of dignity splintering off his name. I stood beside Lily, our hands lightly touching, not clasped. She didn't need holding anymore. As we turned to leave, I paused at the threshold and looked back, not for them, but for the memory. This is the last time we share a room, I said. My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. Outside, Boston's air was brisk and forgiving. The wind lifted the ends of Lily's hoodie as we stepped toward the salon. It wasn't just any salon. It was a place I'd researched, one known for transformation without gimmicks, for stylists who listened more than they cut. The woman who greeted us was tall with soft silver coils and clear eyes. Lily sat in the chair and hesitated. Can it be short? The stylist smiled gently, parting Lily's uneven strands. We don't fix what others broke, she said, combing carefully. We give it back to you. Scissors whispered. Spray bottles sighed. The mirror became less of a battleground and more of a canvas. When it was done, Lily stared at her reflection. Her hair, now a sleek pixie cut with natural movement, framed her face like it had always belonged. No glitter, no borrowed braids, no apology. I look like me, she said. Not someone they edited. I wanted to cry, but didn't. Not now, not here. We walked out together, her head high. At the park nearby, we found a bench under a willow tree. The branches danced like they were trying to tell secrets. Lily tilted her face to the sun, eyes closed. Do you ever want to see them again? I asked. She opened her eyes slowly. No, she said. But I hope they see me. And know I survived. We sat there as the breeze picked up, carrying with it the last trace of that old house. Those old voices. Her hair moved with the wind light defiant hers. They didn't just cut her hair. They revealed exactly who they are. And who we are now is free. The courtroom delivered no handcuffs, but the truth had already sentenced them in full view of the world. What was once whispered behind manicured smiles now lived on record, etched in silence that spoke louder than any apology. Justice didn't storm in. It walked steady and unapologetic, holding hands with those brave enough to speak. When injustice is met with unwavering courage, the final verdict can echo through a lifetime. Some wounds grow out with time, but the courage to expose them, that's what truly heals.